Good morning, everyone. Today I want to share something simple yet profound. 9 questions you can ask yourself every morning. These questions are not about checking off tasks or making plans. They are about shaping the way you see your life, your purpose, and your happiness. Because you see, life doesn't just happen to us. It unfolds according to the lens we choose to look through. Imagine waking up tomorrow and asking yourself a question that sets the tone for your entire day. Imagine that question leading you to clarity and joy. Oh, let's explore these 9 questions together. Who am I grateful for today? Gratitude is like sunlight for the soul. Starting your day with this question reminds you of the love and support around you, no matter how small it may seem. What am I going to learn today? Every day is a school, and life is our classroom. Even small experiences carry lessons if we are ready to notice them. How can I serve someone today? True fulfillment comes when we move beyond ourselves. It doesn't always mean grand gestures. Sometimes a smile, a word of encouragement, or a helping hand can change someone's day. And yours? Am I letting go of what I cannot control? We often carry unnecessary baggage, worries about things beyond our control. Asking this question every morning helps us lighten our load and focus on what truly matters. What will I focus on today? Distraction is everywhere. Life-changing mornings begin when we consciously decide where our attention goes. The clearer we are, the greater our impact. How will I react to challenges today? Life is unpredictable. But what defines us is not what happens to us, it's how we respond. Asking this question reminds us to choose patience, courage, and wisdom. Am I being honest with myself? Authenticity is the foundation of peace. This question ensures that our actions align with our values and that we are living our truth. What can I let go of today? Whether it's fear, anger, or doubt, letting go makes space for positivity. Life is too short to carry yesterday's burdens into today. How will I make today meaningful? At the end of the day, achievements fade, but moments of meaning last forever. Asking this ensures that our lives are filled with purpose, not just busyness. Friends, these questions may seem simple, but their power is extraordinary. Each morning, as you sip your coffee, take a moment to ask yourself these questions. Watch how slowly, gently, your life transforms, not because the world changes, but because you do. Remember, a small shift in perspective can lead to enormous changes in your life. Start tomorrow with these questions, and I promise you will begin to notice the difference. Not immediately, but inevitably, beautifully, and profoundly. Imagine waking up every morning and immediately noticing everything you take for granted. You open your eyes, and the first thing you see is your ceiling, the roof that keeps you safe. You breathe in, and the air fills your lungs effortlessly, a gift so simple that most of us forget it exists. Your body, your mind, the people around you, all of it is a miracle, quietly waiting for your recognition. Gratitude is the gentle art of noticing these miracles. It is not just a polite thank you to the universe. It is a conscious acknowledgement that life itself is precious, that every small thing you have is significant. When you ask yourself, who am I grateful for today? Something incredible begins to happen. Your mind starts to shift from scarcity to abundance. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, your awareness moves to what is already present. Perhaps it's the person who smiled at you yesterday, or a friend who called just to check in, or a colleague who made your workday easier. It can even be the stranger who held the door for you, or the cup of tea that warmed your hands on a cold morning. These are small things, seemingly insignificant. But when you notice them, you start to see life differently. Gratitude trains your mind to focus on positivity. And positivity, as we know, has a ripple effect. Gratitude also has a profound impact on your mental and emotional state. Science tells us that when we practice gratitude, the brain releases dopamine and serotonin, chemicals responsible for happiness and contentment. But even without science, you felt it. That warmth that fills your chest when you genuinely thank someone or acknowledge a blessing, that is gratitude at work. It reduces stress, diminishes worry, and makes challenges easier to face because your perspective shifts. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You ask, what can I appreciate in this moment? The questions you ask yourself in the morning shape your entire day. Starting with gratitude primes your mind to notice abundance, not lack. But here's the deeper beauty of this practice. Gratitude is contagious. Gratitude is contagious. When you express it, others feel it too. Saying a simple or thank you to someone, or even just appreciating them silently in your mind, strengthens relationships. People are drawn to those who recognize and value them. Your morning gratitude can ripple outward, influencing interactions with your family, friends, colleagues, and even strangers. A single conscious acknowledgement can brighten someone else's day in ways you may never fully know. And gratitude doesn't have to be reserved for the extraordinary moments. Often, the greatest impact comes from appreciating the ordinary. Your morning coffee, the rhythm of your footsteps, the feeling of the sun on your face. These moments are gifts. When you consistently notice them, you train yourself to live in the present. Instead of rushing through life, waiting for some distant or big moment to make you happy, you start to experience fulfillment every single day. So tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, before you dive into emails or tasks, ask yourself, who am I grateful for today? Who am I grateful for today? Let your mind wander over the people, things, and moments that make your life richer, however small they may seem. Feel that gratitude fill you from head to toe. Because when you start your day like this, your energy changes, your perspective changes, and slowly but surely, your life changes too. Gratitude is the lens that reveals beauty in the ordinary, the spark that transforms a routine morning into a sacred beginning. Every morning as the sun rises and a new day begins, we are given a priceless gift, a blank page on which to write our experiences, our choices, and our lessons. One question to ask yourself as you wake up is, what am I going to learn today? This simple question is more powerful than it seems because it shifts your mindset from routine existence to conscious growth. Life, you see, is not about waiting for extraordinary moments. It is about finding lessons in the ordinary, in the everyday interactions and experiences that make up our lives. Learning is often associated with classrooms, books, and exams, but the truest learning happens outside of textbooks. It happens when we observe the world, when we listen to others, and when we reflect on our own actions and emotions. Perhaps a colleague reacts unexpectedly during a meeting, and instead of feeling frustrated, you pause and ask yourself why. What can this teach me about human behavior, about patience, or about communication? Maybe a conversation with a friend brings up an emotion you didn't expect, prompting you to explore your own thoughts and feelings more deeply. These are daily lessons, subtle but profound, if only we are willing to notice them. The habit of asking yourself what you will learn each day transforms ordinary experiences into extraordinary opportunities. It makes you aware that life is not something that simply happens to you. It is something you actively engage. When you start your day with this question, you train your mind to stay alert, to look for wisdom even in small moments. A traffic jam can become a lesson in patience. A mistake at work can teach humility and resilience, and a disagreement with a loved one can teach empathy and understanding. Life begins to feel like a teacher that never stops giving, and you, the student, become eager to learn rather than frustrated by challenges. Learning daily also creates a sense of progress and purpose. When you consciously decide to learn, you are no longer passively going through the motions. Every day, no matter how small the lesson, you are improving, growing, and evolving. Over time, these small learnings accumulate, like drops of water filling a bucket, until they transform your mindset, your relationships, and your life itself. You become wiser, more compassionate, and more resilient. Not because life suddenly changed, but because you approached each day as a chance to learn something new. Another beautiful aspect of daily learning is the humility it brings. When you accept that there is always something to learn from people younger, older, more experienced, or less experienced than you cultivate openness and curiosity. You stop thinking that you know everything, and instead you embrace life as a continuous teacher. This humility strengthens relationships, opens doors to new opportunities, and makes you adaptable in an ever-changing world. So tomorrow morning as you rise, ask yourself, what am I going to learn today and today? Keep your eyes, ears, and heart open. Notice the small moments, the people you meet, the obstacles that come your way, and even your own thoughts and emotions. Each of these is a lesson waiting to be discovered. By consciously committing to learning every day, you transform your life from a repetitive cycle into a journey of growth, wisdom, and purpose. Because in the end, the greatest gift you can give yourself is the ability to learn, evolve, and become a better version of who you were yesterday. Every morning as we start our day, there's a question that has the power to change not only the way we feel, but also the lives of those around us. How can I serve someone today? At first, this may sound like a simple act of kindness or a favor we do for others. But serving is far deeper than that. It is a mindset, a way of living that moves us beyond the limits of our own comfort, our own desires, and our own ego. True fulfillment comes not from what we accumulate or achieve for ourselves, but from the positive impact we create in the lives of others. Service does not require grand gestures or enormous sacrifices. It often begins in the smallest of ways, offering a listening ear to a friend who is struggling, helping a colleague complete a task without being asked, or even sharing a smile with a stranger on the street. These moments, those small, ripple far beyond our immediate awareness. You see, when we focus on helping others, we stop centering ourselves in our own worries, and suddenly our perspective expands. Life stops feeling like a struggle and starts feeling like a shared journey. There is a unique joy in seeing someone else's day improve because of something you did. Sometimes something so minor that it may seem insignificant. Perhaps you held the door open for someone rushing to work or gave directions to a lost traveler. You may never hear about the impact, but that act has already created a moment of relief, comfort, or happiness. Service teaches us that our actions, no matter how small, matter. And that awareness fills our hearts with a sense of purpose and contentment that cannot be replicated by material possessions or fleeting achievements. Serving others also transforms the way we see ourselves. When we step outside of our own problems and extend ourselves to others, we develop qualities like empathy, patience, and humility. We learn to appreciate the struggles of others, the value of collaboration, and the importance of generosity. Life begins to feel less about competition and more about contribution. In this way, service becomes a mirror. It reflects back to us our own capacity for love, kindness, and compassion. One of the most beautiful aspects of service is that it is not limited by age, status, or resources. A child can serve by comforting a friend in need. A student can serve by helping classmates understand a difficult topic. A professional can serve by mentoring someone with less experience. Even in moments of personal difficulty, serving others can provide strength and clarity. By focusing on how we can give rather than what we lack, we shift from scarcity to abundance, from fear to courage, from isolation to connection. So tomorrow as you rise and begin your day, ask yourself, how can I serve someone today? Look for opportunities in every interaction. Be mindful of moments when your actions, words, or attention can make a difference. The world may not announce your efforts or reward you immediately, but the fulfillment you feel from genuine service is its own reward. Over time, this practice transforms not only your days, but your very life, filling it with meaning, purpose, and joy that is deeper and longer lasting than anything you could achieve alone. Serving others is the secret to a life well lived. It reminds us that we are all connected, that our smallest actions can create profound effects, and that happiness grows when it is shared. Make service a daily habit and watch how your life and the lives of those around you change in beautiful and unexpected ways. Every morning we wake up carrying a backpack we often don't even realize is there. It's full of worries, regrets, grudges, and fears. Things from yesterday, last week, or even years ago. And yet, we step into a new day as if nothing has been weighing us down. One of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself in the morning is, am I letting go of what I cannot control? Because until we release what doesn't belong to us, until we let go of the unnecessary burdens we carry, we can never truly be free. Letting go doesn't mean ignoring responsibilities or pretending problems don't exist. It means acknowledging the reality of a situation and realizing that there are limits to what we can influence. We cannot control. We cannot control the weather, other people's choices, or the unpredictable twists of life. But what we can control is our reaction, our mindset, and the energy we bring into each moment. By focusing on what we can change and releasing what we cannot, we lighten the load of stress and create space for clarity and peace. Think about the times when you've held on to anger or resentment. Perhaps someone wronged you, and every day you relive that moment, replaying the hurt in your mind. Carrying that weight doesn't punish anyone but you. It steals your energy, clouds your judgment, and prevents you from enjoying the present. When you consciously choose to let go, you are not condoning the action or forgetting the lesson. You are simply refusing to let it dominate your life. Letting go is a gift to yourself, a way of reclaiming your mental and emotional freedom. Letting go also applies to fear and worry about the future. So often we get tangled in a what if sake and possibilities that may never happen. We imagine outcomes, stress over scenarios, and exhaust ourselves over things beyond our control. Asking the morning question of letting go allows you to pause, take a deep breath, and remind yourself that life is happening now, not in some imagined future. When you release fear and focus on what you can do today, you make space for creativity, confidence, and resilience. Even letting go of perfectionism or expectations can transform your day. We live in a world that constantly pressures us to achieve, to perform, to be better. But carrying the weight of impossible expectations is a recipe for frustration. When you ask yourself what can be released, you recognize that sometimes a good enough is perfectly enough, that imperfection is part of life, and that self-compassion is a far greater ally than self-criticism. The act of letting go is a practice, not a one-time event. Each morning offers a new opportunity to shed yesterday's baggage, to step lightly into your day, and to focus on what truly matters. When you cultivate this habit, you'll notice that challenges feel smaller, relationships become more peaceful, and your mind becomes a sanctuary rather than a battlefield. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means giving yourself the freedom to live fully, to embrace life's flow without being weighed down by resistance. So tomorrow, as the first rays of the sun touch your face, ask yourself, what can I release today? Let go of grudges, doubts, fears, and worries. Feel the relief that comes with lightening your load. And notice how once you let go, you can move forward with clarity, energy, and peace. Life becomes not a struggle to control everything, but a beautiful journey where you focus on what matters, release what doesn't, and live each day with intention and joy every morning. As we wake up and prepare the day, our minds are bombarded with thoughts, messages, and endless possibilities. The world demands our attention from every direction: emails, social media, news updates, and countless obligations. In the middle of this chaos, one question can transform not only your day but your life. What will I focus on today? Focus is not just a tool for getting things done. It is the secret to living a meaningful and productive life. Without focus, even the best intentions and talents can get lost in the noise. Focus begins with clarity. When you consciously decide where to place your attention, you give yourself direction. Imagine starting your day without knowing what matters most, jumping from one task to another, reacting to every notification, and never truly accomplishing anything that feels significant. This is how many of us drift through life. But when you ask yourself, what will I focus on today? You are creating a mental compass. You are choosing the direction your energy will flow and determining what deserves your time and effort. The power of focus is that it multiplies your effectiveness. Think of a magnifying glass concentrating sunlight to ignite a small flame. That is how your energy works. Scattered attention is like spreading sunlight over a wide area. It warms everything slightly but changes nothing. Concentrated focus, however, creates impact. When you direct your mind and effort toward the most important tasks, you achieve more in less time. You also reduce stress because your priorities are clear, and you stop wasting energy on distractions that do not matter. Focus is also about resisting the temptation to chase every opportunity or respond to every distraction. In today's world, it is easy to get pulled in multiple directions, trying to answer every message, attend every event, or react to every trend. But not everything is equally important. Learning to focus is about discernment, about saying a no to the things that dilute your energy so that you can say a wholehearted yes to what truly matters. This discipline creates freedom, not limitation, because it allows your mind to fully engage in the present and in your chosen goals. Another aspect of focus is mindfulness. Being present in the moment is the foundation of real attention. When you focus, you are not just physically doing something. Your mind is fully engaged with what you are doing. Whether it's a work project, a conversation, or a personal goal, mindful focus transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary achievements. Your productivity is no longer measured by how busy you are, but by how much meaningful progress you make. Focus is also deeply connected to personal growth. Every great accomplishment, every life-changing habit, and every successful relationship requires concentrated attention. By training your mind to focus each morning on your priorities, you cultivate discipline, patience, and resilience. Over time, this habit becomes a lifestyle. Your days are no longer scattered and reactive, but intentional and powerful. So tomorrow as you rise, ask yourself, what will I focus on today? Identify the tasks, goals, or actions that will make the biggest difference. Protect your attention like the precious resource it is. Avoid distractions, embrace mindfulness, and direct your energy with intention. When you do this consistently, you will notice something remarkable. Life begins to flow smoothly, progress becomes visible, and each day carries a sense of accomplishment and purpose. Focus is not just about productivity. It is about shaping the life you truly want, one deliberate action at a time. Every morning, as we rise and prepare for the day, we are entering a world that is unpredictable and often challenging. Life has a way of throwing unexpected situations at us. Sometimes small inconveniences, other times overwhelming difficulties. And yet one simple question can completely transform how we navigate these challenges. How will I react to challenges today? This question is not about controlling what happens to us. It is about reclaiming control over our inner world, our attitude, and our choices. Because life is less about what happens and more about how we respond. Think of two people facing the same situation. One sees obstacles, complains, and gives up. The other faces the same reality but chooses patience, courage, and creativity. The circumstances are identical, yet the outcomes are vastly different. This is the power of response. Our reactions are like seeds. They grow into habits, and habits shape our character. A small choice to respond with calm instead of anger, with optimism instead of despair, can ripple across the day, the week, and ultimately the course of our lives. Challenges are inevitable. They come in the form of deadlines, conflicts, health concerns, or unexpected losses. We cannot always avoid them, but we can decide how much space they occupy in our minds. When we start the morning by consciously asking ourselves how we will respond, we prepare our minds for resilience. It's like armor for the soul, not to block life's experiences, but to face them with clarity and courage. This question reminds us that we are not victims of circumstance. We are active participants in our own lives. Responding wisely to challenges also requires self-awareness. Often our first instinct is emotional, a flash of anger, fear, or frustration. But if we pause and ask ourselves, how will I respond? We create a gap between stimulus and action. In that gap lies choice, the ability to act intentionally rather than react impulsively. Over time, this practice strengthens our emotional intelligence and empowers us to navigate even the most difficult situations with grace. Moreover, challenges are opportunities in disguise. Every difficulty carries a lesson, a chance to grow stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. By consciously framing our responses, we turn setbacks into stepping stones. A project that fails teaches perseverance. A conflict that arises teaches patience, and a disappointment in relationships teaches understanding. Life is not happening to punish us. It is happening to shape us, refine us, and reveal our hidden strengths. Another important aspect is the ripple effect of our responses. How we respond to challenges affects the people around us. When we react with calm and understanding, we inspire others to do the same. When we respond with anger or negativity, it spreads like wildfire. By asking ourselves every morning how we will react, we set a tone not only for our day but also for our environment, influencing relationships, work, and community in profound ways. So tomorrow, as the sun rises and a new day begins, ask yourself, how will I respond to challenges today? Decide to meet difficulties with courage, patience, and positivity. Remember that the storms of life are temporary, but the strength you build through your responses lasts a lifetime. Life may not always be easy, but how you respond can turn even the toughest moments into opportunities for growth, resilience, and transformation. Your reactions define your story far more than the circumstances ever could. Every morning as we wake and begin our day, we face countless decisions, interactions, and choices. Amidst all of this, one question can have a profound impact on the way we live our lives. Am I being honest with myself? At first, it may seem simple, even obvious. But in reality, Self-honesty is a skill, a practice, and a commitment that many of us neglect. It is the foundation of authenticity, the quality that allows us to live a line for line with our values, rather than one dictated by external pressures or false pretenses. Honesty with yourself begins with awareness. It means looking inward without excuses, without judgment, and without trying to convince yourself of things that aren't true. Perhaps you are pretending to be okay when you are not, or pursuing goals that belong to someone else's expectations. Maybe you ignore your true desires because you fear judgment or failure. Self-honesty requires courage, the courage to acknowledge your fears, your mistakes, and even your strengths. It is the moment when you stop lying to yourself about who you are, what you feel, and what you truly want from life. When you practice this form of honesty, life begins to shift. Pretenses and masks consume a tremendous amount of energy. We often spend our days trying to maintain appearances, meet expectations, or live up to images that are not ours. But when we stop deceiving ourselves, a remarkable freedom emerges. There is no longer a need to compare, compete, or prove anything to anyone because you are no longer hiding. You are aligned with your own truth. This alignment brings clarity, peace, and an inner strength that no external validation can provide. Honesty with self also shapes your relationships. When you are authentic, your interactions become genuine. People sense it. They feel your sincerity, your transparency, and your integrity. You no longer engage in shallow conversations or pretend to be someone you're not just to gain approval. Instead, your presence inspires trust, respect, and deeper connections. Your honesty becomes contagious, encouraging others to reflect on their own truth and authenticity. Another aspect of self-honesty is recognizing your growth areas. It means admitting when you were taking responsibility for your actions and committing to improvement. Many people avoid this because it is uncomfortable, but this is where transformation begins. Growth cannot occur without first seeing things clearly as they are. When you start your morning asking, "Am I being honest with myself?" you are setting a tone of integrity for your day. You are preparing yourself to face challenges and opportunities from a place of truth rather than illusion. Self-honesty is not always easy because it requires vulnerability. You must confront your fears, acknowledge your weaknesses, and accept parts of yourself you may not like. But it is precisely through this confrontation that you build resilience, self-respect, and confidence. Self-respect and confidence. The more honest you are with yourself, the less you are swayed by external opinions, and the more you can navigate life with purpose, clarity, and authenticity. So tomorrow, as you start your day, pause and ask yourself, am I being honest with myself? Reflect on your intentions, your actions, and your feelings. Let this honesty guide your choices, conversations, and decisions. When you commit to living authentically, every action aligns with your values, every relationship deepens, and every challenge becomes an opportunity for growth. Self-honesty is not just a practice. It is the gateway to a life of integrity, peace, and true fulfillment. Every morning, we step into a world that carries both beauty and challenges, but often what holds us back is not the world. It's the negativity we carry within ourselves. Negativity comes in many forms: anger, resentment, fear, doubt, or self-criticism. It acts like a weight on our shoulders, slowing us down, clouding our thoughts, and limiting our potential. One of the most transformative questions you can ask yourself every morning is, what can I let go of today? Because until we release what no longer serves us, true growth, joy, and peace remain out of reach. Negativity is like carrying a backpack full of rocks. Each worry, each grievance, each moment of bitterness adds weight, and over time it makes even the simplest journey exhausting. By consciously asking what we can release, we begin the process of lightening that load. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or ignoring the past. It means choosing not to let it control your present or dictate your future. It's the conscious decision to free your mind and heart from the prison of negativity. Think about anger. How often do we replay the mistakes of others, reliving the hurt and resentment over and over? Holding on to anger might feel justified, but in reality, it punishes no one but ourselves. By releasing it, we reclaim our energy and peace. Similarly, fear keeps us stuck in inaction, preventing us from pursuing opportunities, forming meaningful relationships, or taking risks that could lead to growth. Doubt erodes confidence while self-criticism diminishes joy. Letting go of these toxic thoughts creates space for positivity, creativity, and courage to flourish. Releasing negativity also transforms how we perceive challenges. When our minds are clouded by anger or fear, even small obstacles seem insurmountable. But when we clear that mental space, we can approach difficulties with clarity, resilience, and an open heart. Letting go doesn't make problems disappear, but it changes our relationship with them. We are no longer overwhelmed. We are empowered to act thoughtfully, make better decisions, and respond with patience rather than impulsivity. Another vital aspect of letting go is its impact on relationships. Negativity can create barriers between us and the people we care about. Resentment, grudges, and criticism build walls that prevent connection and understanding. By choosing to release these emotions, we allow ourselves to relate to others with empathy, compassion, and love. Our interactions become more meaningful, and we begin to foster trust and harmony instead of conflict and distance. Letting go is also a practice of self-love. It is an acknowledgement that we deserve peace, happiness, and growth. It is the recognition that carrying old wounds, regrets, or unnecessary fears does not honor our potential. Every morning when we ask ourselves what we can release, we are giving ourselves permission to live lighter, freer, and more fully. This daily practice becomes a habit that shapes our mindset, our choices, and ultimately our lives. So tomorrow, as the sun rises and a new day begins, pause and ask, what negativity can I release today? Let go of anger, fear, doubt, and resentment. Feel the lightness that comes with freeing your heart and mind. Notice how, as you release what no longer serves you, space opens for growth, joy, and meaningful experiences. Life becomes less about the burdens we carry and more about the possibilities we embrace. Releasing negativity is not just an act. It is a pathway to transformation, empowerment, and the life you are truly capable of living. Every morning, as the first light of the day touches your face, you have a choice about how your day will unfold and how your life will be shaped. One of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself each morning is, how will I make today meaningful? Because fulfillment is not found in busyness, in endless tasks, or in the pursuit of material success. It is found in the moments where our actions align with purpose, values, and connection. A day lived without meaning may pass quickly, but it leaves the heart restless and the mind unsatisfied. Creating meaning begins with awareness. It means noticing that every day presents opportunities, small, often subtle, yet powerful, to contribute, grow, and make a difference. Perhaps it's the encouragement you offer a friend, the focus you bring to your work, or the patience you extend to someone in need. Each act, however small, carries weight. When we intentionally seek meaning in our daily lives, we stop drifting through routine and start engaging deeply with every moment. Meaningful living is also about aligning your actions with your values. Imagine spending your day doing tasks that feel empty, chasing goals that don't resonate with who you truly are. The hours may pass, but a sense of emptiness lingers. On the other hand, when you dedicate time to activities that reflect your principles, passions, and strengths, you feel a sense of purpose even in small accomplishments. That alignment creates inner peace and a quiet confidence because you know your day was not wasted and your energy contributed to something larger than yourself. Another aspect of creating meaning is connection. Meaning often arises from how we impact others, how we nurture relationships, and how we contribute to the world around us. Simple gestures, a kind word, a listening ear, a thoughtful action can ripple outward in ways we may never fully see. By asking yourself each morning how you will make the day meaningful, you become more mindful of these opportunities. You start to notice moments that might otherwise go unrecognized, and you seize them with intention and presence. Creating meaning also helps us navigate challenges and setbacks. Life is unpredictable, and difficulties are inevitable. Yet, when we focus on purpose, obstacles are reframed. A problem at work becomes a chance to demonstrate patience and problem solving. A conflict in relationships becomes a lesson in empathy and communication. Even moments of personal struggle can be transformed into opportunities for self-reflection, growth, and contribution. Meaning gives context to life's hardships and transforms them from sources of despair into catalysts for development. Finally, making meaning daily transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Mundane tasks, repetitive routines, and simple interactions can become sacred when infused with intention. Brushing your teeth, preparing a meal, completing a task at work, all can become acts of mindfulness and purpose if approached with awareness. Life is made up of small moments, and the accumulation of meaningful moments creates a life that is fulfilling, vibrant, and resonant. So tomorrow, as you wake and face a new day, ask yourself, how will I make today meaningful? Let this question guide your actions, your interactions, and your mindset. Seek opportunities to contribute, align your actions with your values, and approach each moment with intention. Over time, this practice transforms not just your day, but your life. Fulfillment is not a distant goal, it is a daily choice. By living each day with purpose, you create a life that is rich, satisfying, and deeply meaningful. Every morning as you open your eyes and begin a new day, it's easy to think that only big actions, grand decisions, or major events can truly change your life. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. Small, consistent shifts in thought, habit, or perspective can create profound and lasting transformation. One question to ask yourself each morning is, what small shift can I make today that will move my life forward? Because it's not always the giant leaps that shape our journey. It's the tiny steps we take consistently over time. Think of life like a river. The water moves steadily, carving paths through rocks and valleys, not by force, but by persistence. Each drop alone seems insignificant, yet together they create change that reshapes landscapes. Similarly, small shifts in our daily lives may feel inconsequential at first. A kind word spoken instead of a harsh one, a 5-minute meditation to center your mind, choosing gratitude over complaint. But over time, these choices compound, altering your mindset, relationships, shifts, and trajectory in ways that are profound. The beauty of small shifts is that they are achievable. Massive changes can feel overwhelming and often lead to procrastination or self-doubt. But when you focus on one small, intentional improvement each day, you create momentum. For example, committing to waking up 5 minutes earlier may seem trivial, but that extra time can be used for reflection, planning, or exercise, setting a positive tone for the entire day. Similarly, choosing to listen more attentively in conversations or smiling at a stranger may appear minor, but these small decisions ripple outward, influencing your environment and creating opportunities you could not have predicted. Small shifts also cultivate resilience. Life is unpredictable, and circumstances rarely go exactly as planned. When you rely solely on big actions for change, setbacks can feel devastating. But when you embrace incremental improvement, you develop patience, flexibility, and perseverance. Each small step reinforces the belief that progress is possible, even in the face of obstacles. Over time, these small steps accumulate into remarkable transformation, and you begin to notice patterns of growth that were invisible at the start. Another vital aspect of small shifts is their psychological impact. They remind us that change is within our control. Too often, people wait for external circumstances, perfect conditions, or major life events to take action. But transformation begins with the conscious choices we make daily. When you focus on small intentional adjustments, whether in mindset, habit, or behavior, you reclaim your agency and you begin to see yourself as the architect of your own life. Finally, small shifts create a ripple effect beyond your own life. When you improve your perspective, your habits, or your responses, the people around you notice and respond. Your energy, your attitude, and your choices influence those you interact with, creating a network of positive change that extends far beyond your immediate actions. What may seem like a minor adjustment in your daily routine can spark transformation in relationships, workplaces, and communities over time. So tomorrow, as you greet the day, ask yourself, what small shift can I make today that will improve my life? Focus on intentional, achievable actions. Embrace patience, consistency, and mindfulness. Remember, it's the accumulation of small, meaningful choices that shapes destiny, not a single dramatic act. By committing to small shifts, you cultivate a life of continuous growth, purpose, and profound transformation, proving that even the tiniest changes, when sustained, can create extraordinary results. Not every morning, we wake up with countless possibilities in front of us. We dream of big changes, ambitious goals, and life-altering achievements. But often, the difference between those who succeed And those who only dream lies not in talent, luck, or opportunities, but in consistency. One question to ask yourself each morning is, what consistent action will I take today to move closer to my goals? Because success is rarely the result of a single heroic effort. It is the cumulative effect of small, consistent steps taken over time. Think about nature for a moment. The mighty oak tree doesn't grow overnight. It starts as a tiny acorn nourished by sun, rain, and soil. Each day, it absorbs nutrients and grows a little stronger. Over years, it transforms into a majestic tree that withstands storms and provides shelter to countless creatures. Similarly, in our lives, small, consistent efforts compound into extraordinary results. Writing a page a day, practicing a skill for a few minutes each morning, or choosing one positive habit consistently may seem insignificant in the moment, but over weeks, months, and years, the impact is profound. Consistency also builds discipline and resilience. Life is unpredictable, and challenges are inevitable. Motivation fluctuates, enthusiasm fades, and distractions abound. But when we commit to consistent action, we create a structure that carries us forward, even when we don't feel like it. It becomes a habit, a rhythm that sustains progress. Think of an athlete training daily or an artist practicing relentlessly. What sets them apart is not sudden genius, but the discipline to show up every day, no matter the circumstances. Moreover, consistency develops confidence. When we see our repeated efforts producing results, even small ones, we start to trust ourselves and our capabilities. Each day becomes an opportunity to prove that we can follow through, that we can honor our commitments, and that we are capable of growth. This self-trust fuels motivation, creating a positive cycle where effort leads to results. Results reinforce confidence, and confidence encourages further effort. Consistency is also a form of integrity. It reflects commitment to our goals, values, and personal standards. When you consistently act with purpose, even in small ways, you send a message to yourself and the world that you are reliable, focused, and serious about your aspirations. People begin to notice opportunities open, and your credibility grows not because of a single impressive act, but because of the steady rhythm of your actions. Finally, the beauty of consistency is that it compounds silently. The effort you put in today may not produce immediate results, but it creates momentum. Like drops of water filling a reservoir, each consistent action adds up until it reaches a tipping point. One day you look back and realize that the progress you made was not sudden or magical. It was a natural result of your steady, persistent effort over time. So tomorrow as you rise, ask yourself, what consistent action will I take today to move forward? Choose something achievable, meaningful, and aligned with your goals. Take that small step and commit to doing it day after day. Remember, greatness is rarely achieved in a single leap. It is built brick by brick, habit by habit by habit by habit by habit, with patience, persistence, and unwavering consistency. Over time, these small, repeated actions compound into extraordinary success, transforming dreams into reality and potential into achievement. Every morning as you wake up and greet a new day, the world is the same as it was yesterday, yet your experience of it can be entirely different. One simple question to ask yourself each morning is, what mindset will I choose today? Because the reality you experience is not determined solely by circumstances, luck, or external events. It is largely shaped by your mindset. How you perceive, interpret, and respond to life defines not only your emotions, but also your actions, your relationships, and ultimately your destiny. Mindset is like the lens through which we view the world. Two people can face the exact same situation, yet one sees obstacles while the other sees opportunities. One may see failure while the other sees a lesson. One may dwell in fear while the other feels curiosity and courage. The difference is not the external circumstance, but the internal perspective. By consciously choosing a positive, growth-oriented mindset every morning, you take control of your experience and open yourself to possibilities that may have otherwise been invisible. The power of mindset is evident in how we face challenges. Life is unpredictable and difficulties are inevitable. Yet those who thrive are not those who avoid hardships. They are those who approach them with resilience and optimism. A mindset that views challenges as opportunities to learn, grow, and innovate transforms every difficulty into a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. By shaping your thoughts and attitudes, you shape your actions, and by shaping your actions, you shape the outcomes in your life. Mindset also influences your emotions and relationships. A person with a mindset of gratitude, empathy, and understanding approaches the world with patience and kindness. They notice beauty, appreciate small joys, and nurture connections. On the other hand, a mindset of negativity, fear, or resentment creates tension, stress, and distance. By asking yourself each morning what mindset you will adopt, you consciously steer the tone of your day, your interactions, and your influence on others. Furthermore, mindset affects long-term growth. Those who embrace a growth-oriented perspective see mistakes not as failures but as opportunities to improve. They focus on solutions instead of problems and remain adaptable in the face of change. Over time, this mindset compounds, creating confidence, resilience, and success. It allows you to navigate life with curiosity, creativity, and courage, turning setbacks into lessons and challenges into opportunities for advancement. Finally, the beauty of mindset is that it is within your control. You may not control what happens around you, but you can always control how you perceive it. You can choose thoughts that empower rather than thoughts that limit. You can choose focus over distraction, optimism over pessimism, and action over inaction. By consciously shaping your mindset each morning, you set the tone for your day, influence your choices, and ultimately determine the quality of your life. So tomorrow, as the sun rises and a new day begins, ask yourself, what mindset will I choose today? Commit to a mindset of growth, positivity, and resilience. Let it guide your actions, interactions, and decisions. Remember, the mind is a powerful tool. When aligned with purpose, clarity, and positivity, it transforms ordinary days into meaningful experiences and ordinary efforts into extraordinary results. Mindset does not just influence your day, it shapes your reality and determines the life you create for yourself. Every morning, as you wake and prepare to step into a new day, one question can transform not only the hours ahead, but the trajectory of your life. What is my purpose today? Purpose is the fuel that drives lasting motivation, the unseen force that turns ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. Without purpose, even the busiest days can feel empty, repetitive, and exhausting. But when your actions are guided by a clear sense of meaning, every task, every decision, and every challenge becomes significant. Purpose begins with clarity. It is the understanding of why you do what you do, not just what you do. Many people go through life reacting to circumstances, ticking boxes, or chasing goals set by others. They work hard but feel unfulfilled because their efforts are disconnected from a deeper reason. Purpose connects your efforts to your values, your passions, and your vision for your life. It provides direction in the chaos, a compass that guides decisions, priorities, and energy. Having purpose also transforms challenges into opportunities. Life is full of obstacles, setbacks, and moments that test our patience and resilience. When your actions are fueled by purpose, challenges no longer feel like interruptions. They become opportunities to prove your commitment, refine your skills, and deepen your understanding. The effort you put in is no longer a chore, but a meaningful contribution towards something that truly matters. Purpose gives suffering and struggle context, turning difficulty into growth and learning. Purpose also sustains motivation when external rewards fade. Motivation that relies solely on recognition, praise, or material gain is fragile. It wanes when the applause ends or results are delayed. But when purpose drives your actions, motivation comes from within. You work because it aligns with who you are and what you value. Even on the hardest days, when fatigue, distraction, or doubt threatens to derail you, purpose provides the inner fuel to keep moving forward. It creates perseverance that is steady, unwavering, and deeply satisfying. Furthermore, purpose enriches your relationships and interactions. When your actions are meaningful, they impact not only your life, but also the lives of others. Purpose inspires empathy, generosity, and contribution. People are drawn to those who act with intention, because purpose radiates energy and clarity. Your choices, guided by a clear sense of meaning, create ripples that extend far beyond your immediate sphere, influencing family, friends, colleagues, and even strangers in profound ways. Purpose also turns ordinary moments into extraordinary ones. Simple actions, completing a task at work, supporting a friend, learning something new, take on significance when connected to a greater reason. Life becomes less about surviving or going through the motions and more about contributing, growing, and leaving a legacy. This daily alignment between action and purpose fosters fulfillment, joy, and a sense of accomplishment that transcends fleeting achievements. So, tomorrow, as you wake and face a new day, ask yourself, what is my purpose today? Let this question guide your choices, interactions, and mindset. Connect every action to a deeper reason, embrace challenges as opportunities, and allow purpose to fuel your motivation. When purpose drives your life, effort is transformed into meaningful progress, obstacles become lessons, and ordinary days become steps toward extraordinary fulfillment. Purpose is not just a motivator, it is the heartbeat of a life well lived.